The history of Christmas and its earliest influences can be traced back to the celebration of Yule, a pagan festival deeply rooted in ancient Norse traditions, with origins dating back thousands of years. The festival of Yule is considered one of the first winter solstice celebrations and was observed from the 21st of December through January 1st. Yule was observed by Germanic and Norse people in the Scandinavian region, which includes present-day Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. The winter solstice marks the longest night of the year, as well as the return of longer days. These celebrations have long been commemorated by various cultures throughout history and are considered a significant astronomical event to be recognized. Yule was a time to embrace warmth, light, and the renewal of life during the darkest time of year. One of the most popular customs of Yule was the lighting of the Yule log, which was a practice that symbolized the rebirth of the sun as well as the turning point of longer days ahead. During early Yule celebrations, the Yule log was initially an entire tree that would be slowly burned over the course of 12 days. The burning of the Yule log has become one of the most symbolic traditions that originated from Yule, with contemporary practices including shaping cakes to look like a Yule log, as well as the well-known tradition of burning a log in the fireplace during Christmas. The end of December was considered an ideal time for celebration in several areas of Europe. During this time, cattle were slaughtered to spare the need for winter feeding. For many, it was the only instance in the year when one had access to fresh meat. Furthermore, the majority of beer and wine produced during the year was fully fermented and now suitable for drinking. During the festivities, many would participate in the custom of wassailing, which involved singing and drinking. One would toast to their health and also to the flourishing of fruit trees, ensuring a bountiful harvest in the following year. Throughout the celebration, houses were embellished with evergreen plants like holly, ivy, and mistletoe, as they were thought to possess protective and mystical characteristics, serving as representations of the endurance of life in the midst of winter's harshness. Both the inclusion of evergreen decorations and the custom of exchanging gifts during Christmas also finds its origin in this celebration. The act of gift-giving during this time was a way to demonstrate appreciation to their gods and foster goodwill within the community. It was believed that this practice would ensure safety and good fortune in the forthcoming year. This was also an effective way to fortify social connections and cultivate harmony and unity amongst friends and family. Another significant celebration that has influenced the practice of Christmas is Saturnalia, which was the most popular holiday in ancient Rome. This holiday served as an occasion to honor Saturn, the god of agriculture, time, and renewal. The celebration of Saturnalia commenced in the week prior to the winter solstice, originally as a one-day celebration on December 17th, but later extended into a week-long festivity around 133 BC. The festival was a time of indulgence, complemented by an abundance of food and drinks. Saturnalia was a unique time in ancient Rome, characterized by a temporary reversal of societal norms. During the festival, enslaved individuals were granted temporary freedom and were treated as equals. To ensure everyone could partake on the holiday celebrations, both businesses and schools were closed, allowing all to join in on the festivities. Like Yule, celebrants also decorated their homes with evergreens, further adding to the festive atmosphere. During Saturnalia, Romans of all classes chose to forego their usual formal togas and instead wore loose and colorful robes known as synthesis, which were typically reserved for dining as well as special occasions. Romans dedicated their time during this winter solstice celebration to activities such as gambling, singing, feasting, and exchanging gifts. Engaging in the revelry at drinking parties became a widely embraced practice during Saturnalia, aligning with the holiday's inclusive ethos that extended a warm invitation to all participants, regardless of their status or wealth. Wax taper candles were commonly given as gifts, as they symbolized the return of light after the solstice. Within households, candles were placed in altars devoted to Saturn that simultaneously served as a practical means to illuminate the nightly festivities. Within many homes, a mock king was chosen and referred to as the Lord of Misrule. This figure played a role in introducing mischief during the celebrations, such as mocking guests, wearing unconventional clothing, and chasing around women and girls. The age-old custom of concealing coins or small items in cakes served as a method for choosing the mock king. On the final day of Saturnalia, known as Sigillaria, many Romans presented their friends and loved ones with small terracotta figurines, which were fashioned after deities such as Hercules, Minerva, or other renowned mythological figures. Among Roman holidays, Saturnalia stood out as the most joyous, with the renowned poet Catullus describing it as the best of times. The first recorded Christmas celebration took place in the church in Rome on December 25th in the year 336 during the reign of Emperor Constantine. Constantine, who established Christianity as the dominant religion of the empire, is speculated to have strategically chosen December 25th for the holiday, possibly to diminish the influence of established pagan celebrations. As the 4th century drew to a close, the tradition of celebrating Christmas on December 25th had become more prevalent among Christians. Over time, December 25th has become widely recognized as a date for celebrating the Christian holiday. However, the historical roots behind designating December 25th as Jesus' birthday remains uncertain, with no definitive clues provided in the New Testament. Notably, the earliest recorded mention of December 25th as Jesus' birthday is documented in the chronography of 354, a Roman almanac dating back to the 4th century. With Christianity gaining wider acceptance within the Roman Empire, the celebration of Christmas naturally followed suit. Christian missionaries played an instrumental role in spreading the faith, traditions, and teachings of Christianity, including the celebration of Christmas, as they traveled to various parts of the Roman Empire and beyond. The onset of the Middle Ages, also known as the Medieval Era, spanning from the years 500 to 1500, ushered in a new chapter for Christmas festivities, characterized by evolving customs and traditions. As the festive season approached, Christians observed the fasting period of Advent, which was a time when it was customary to exercise restraint by abstaining from the consumption of rich foods and avoiding excessive indulgence. This period of Advent, leading up to Christmas, served as a dedicated time of spiritual readiness as participants prepared for the celebration of Jesus' birth on Christmas Day. Christmas was the longest holiday in the European medieval calendar, and celebrations started on Christmas Eve on the 24th of December and concluded on Epiphany on January 6th. Each day of this festive period held religious significance, with people engaging in various customs and traditions. Epiphany, celebrated on January 6, commemorates the moment when the wise men, also known as the Magi, followed a special star in the sky, believing it would lead them to an important person. Their journey led them to Bethlehem, where they found the baby Jesus in a simple dwelling. During their visit, they bestowed upon Jesus gold, frankincense, and myrrh as a gesture of homage and recognition of his significance. This discovery, realizing this was no ordinary child but someone very special, is the Epiphany, a moment of profound understanding. Christmas in the Middle Ages kicked off with the traditional Christmas Mass just before sunrise, marking the end of Advent and signaling the beginning of festive feasting and celebrations ahead. Christmas looked a little bit different for everyone, and celebrations largely depended on one's social class. Feasting was a big part of the medieval celebrations during the 12 days of Christmas. Despite one's status or wealth, many people were still typically able to afford and enjoy a dinner centered around ham, a staple still prevalent in Christmas dinners to this day. Considering the middle of winter was a time where agricultural activity had slowed down quite a bit, farmers were typically granted at least 12 days of time off from lords of the manor, and it was also common for lords to serve festive meals to their tenants. Special feasts in the manor included indulgent and overabundant options of various meats, several courses of fish, complete with custards and nuts to conclude these large meals. Similar to the celebrations during the early winter solstice festivals, drinking during the celebration was equally as important as the indulgent feasts. Commoners favored ale and spiced cider, while lords and royalty preferred the refined choice of wine. As households adorned their spaces for the festive season in the midst of the Middle Ages, hearths glowed with the warmth of Yule logs as they warmed up homes in the chilly winter. Holly, distinguished by its dark green foliage and eye-catching red berries, held a cherished place as a quintessential winter decoration since ancient times. Celtic Druids, valuing holly as sacred, believed in its ability to ward off malevolent spirits. Likewise, the Romans valued this tradition, exchanging holly as a meaningful gift to express admiration and goodwill. Mistletoe also held a prominent place as a festive decoration placed in homes during the Christmas season. A double ring of mistletoe was thought to serve as a protective charm against witches, promote healthy fertility, and safeguard the well-being of crops. Participating in the customary act of kissing beneath the mistletoe was common, with each kiss coinciding with the removal of one berry. Mumming was also an essential aspect of medieval Christmas celebrations. This was a custom that involved participants dressing in costume, often concealing their faces with animal masks or disguising themselves as women. Other extravagant costumes depicted lords, cardinals, and knights. Once dressed and ready, collectives of mummers, sometimes exceeding more than 100 members, and accompanied by musicians, roamed the streets, going door to door, sharing jokes, performing short plays, and singing festive folk songs. These animated marches occasionally extended into households where participants engaged in dancing and even dice games. While some mummers participated just for the fun of it, others would happily accept food and drinks as well as coins in exchange for their entertainment. Nativity plays were also a cherished part of medieval Christmas festivities, inspired by mystery plays, which also featured dramatic renditions of biblical tales. These theatrical performances became integral to the holiday traditions of European towns. Evolving from the broader tradition of mystery plays, nativity plays took center stage, introducing key figures like the Magi and King Herod into the narrative. Although Christmas was a highly enjoyable time for many people, as time passed, a shift in attitude towards Christmas emerged in 17th century England, driven by a group known as the Puritans. These reformists within the Church of England sought to purify the Church by emphasizing a strict interpretation of the Bible and removing perceived Catholic influences. Christmas's transformation into a holiday filled with revelry, marked by excessive drinking, gambling, and dancing, significantly diverged from Puritan ideology. The notable absence of celebrations of Jesus' birth as a festive observance in the Bible further gave reason for the Puritans to strive to put an end to what they considered an unchristlike celebration. A turning point from the typical celebrations came in 1642, when in response to Parliament's request, King Charles I redefined the festive holiday into a subdued period focused on fasting and spiritual contemplation. A new foundation and set of rules regarding worship were created by the Parliament in January of 1645. This new directory specified that Sundays were solely a time for worship, while festivals and the celebration of Christmas were thought to have no place in the church and were subsequently banned. Still unsatisfied with the bans put in place, in 1657 the Parliament had now declared the closure of businesses during Christmas as illegal, and also blocked the right to hold a service to worship Christmas. With disregard of the Parliament's harsh opposal of the holiday celebrations, the English continued to celebrate the holiday, albeit primarily in the comfort of their own homes, rather than at the church. In 1660, the holiday was eventually liberated from its restrictions, and the ban was lifted following the restoral of the monarchy. Displeased with the church's actions and ethos, some Puritans chose to relocate from England and eventually ended up in Massachusetts. Once again, restrictions were put in place, albeit elsewhere, and the festive celebration had now become illegal in 1659. Those who chose to participate could be fined if found guilty of celebrating. It wasn't until 200 years had passed before Christmas had once again returned as a legal holiday in Massachusetts. In 1870, Christmas was officially recognized as a federal holiday thanks to Ulysses S. Grant. The Victorian era, spanning from the early 19th century to the beginning of the 20th century, introduced novel Christmas celebrations that continue to influence modern traditions. During this period, the emergence of newly built factories and the innovation of railways significantly shaped the Christmas season. In the early Victorian era, Christmas toys were primarily handcrafted and carried hefty price tags, limiting their accessibility to only the privileged few. However, the establishment of new factories revolutionized this landscape by introducing mass production of games, dolls, clockwork toys, and books. This shift resulted in more affordable and accessible prices, allowing the middle class to partake in the festive spirit. The Victorian era placed a great emphasis on Christmas becoming a more family-oriented holiday, with sentimental and family-focused celebrations. The inception of Christmas traditions as we recognize them today owes much to the transformative influence of the Victorian era. A burgeoning economy propelled by the industrial might of the Victorian age granted middle-class families in England and Wales the luxury of taking time off work to celebrate Christmas. The day after Christmas was known as Boxing Day, since the working class and servants opened boxes filled with gifts of money from the affluent, further enhancing the festive spirit. The advent of railways facilitated the return of country dwellers who had migrated in search of work to reunite with their families for the Christmas festivities. The introduction of the penny post in 1840 revolutionized communication in Britain, making it affordable for individuals to send Christmas cards. Sir Henry Cole capitalized on this by printing 1,000 Christmas cards in his London art shop, pricing them at 1 shilling each. The popularity of Christmas cards soared with the introduction of affordable halfpenny postage rates in the 1870s, a development made possible by the efficiency of the newly established railways. Christmas trees were typically adorned with candles, trinkets, small gifts, and intricately crafted paper decorations, including paper angels. Over time, the decoration of trees became even more elaborate, evolving into more intricate and elegant displays. Prince Albert, Queen Victoria's husband, played a pivotal role in popularizing the tradition of decorating Christmas trees in England, drawing inspiration from his German heritage. While Queen Charlotte introduced decorated evergreen trees to the nation in the early 1800s, it was the royal family, especially Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, who left an indelible mark. In 1840, an illustration featuring the royal family next to a decorated tree captivated the public imagination, solidifying the Christmas tree as a symbol of the season. In the Victorian era, it was customary to open gifts on Christmas Eve, enhancing the joy and anticipation associated with the holiday. Amidst the exchange of heartfelt presents, another cherished tradition took center stage. While the origin of carol books can be traced back to 1521, the Victorian era witnessed a notable surge in the popularity of caroling. It was routine to sing carols either around the family piano or at the doorsteps of neighbors on Christmas Eve. Fresh adaptations of once-forgotten carols contributed to the festive atmosphere of the Victorian Christmas. At the heart of Christmas festivities, distinguished by his boundless generosity, merry demeanor, and love for cookies, stands the iconic Santa Claus, adorned in his unmistakable red ensemble. Rooted in centuries of history, the legend of Santa finds its origin within the monk Saint Nicholas. Historical accounts suggest that Nicholas was born around AD 280 in Patara near Myra, a small Roman town in what is now Turkey. Nicholas was known as an ardent and defiant individual, as he emerged as an unwavering defender of church doctrine amidst the Great Persecution of 303, a period marked by the burning of Bibles and the coercion of priests to abandon Christianity under the threat of execution. During this period, known as the Great Persecution, the Roman Emperor Diocletian issued a notably harsh edict. Edicts are official orders with the force of law, and this one aimed to eradicate Christianity from the Roman Empire. This time marked a dark chapter in history when Christians faced persecution, imprisonment, and even execution if they refused to renounce their faith. Challenging these mandates, the defiant Nicholas endured years of imprisonment. It wasn't until the Roman Emperor Constantine issued the Edict of Milan in the year 313 that the persecution of Christians came to an end, and religious tolerance was granted to all religions. Revered for his holiness and goodwill, Saint Nick was surrounded by many legends throughout the years. Over time, Nicholas gained widespread acclaim as a guardian of orphans, sailors, and prisoners. Nicholas passed away on December 6th around the year 343, yet his renown has endured beyond his lifetime, and he continues to be celebrated to this day. Saint Nicholas is revered in various Christian traditions, and his feast day, December 6th, is still widely observed in many countries. The day of Saint Nicholas's passing was traditionally deemed as an auspicious time for major purchases or weddings, as numerous miracles were attributed to him. As the Renaissance unfolded, Saint Nicholas rose to prominence as Europe's most beloved saint, maintaining a positive image despite the Protestant Reformation's shift away from the admiration of saints. In the late 18th century, St. Nicholas began to integrate into American popular culture. The transformation of the name Santa Claus finds its origin in Nick's Dutch moniker, Sinterklaas, a shortened form of Sint Nicholas, which was Dutch for Saint Nicholas. Clement Clarke Morse's "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," initially written for his 6 children in 1822, was eventually published anonymously the following year in a New York newspaper. This poem played a notable role in introducing Santa's current imagery. Santa, the generous gift giver with the power to magically transport himself in and out of a chimney and fly through skies on a miniature sleigh, captivated the imaginations of Americans with the narrative of his character and traditions. The enchanting story became a source of fascination when the poem gained popularity. While drawing inspiration from Moore's poem, a political cartoonist, Thomas Nast, illustrated a cartoon in Harper's Weekly of Santa in 1881. His illustration depicted Santa as a chubby, white-bearded man with rosy cheeks, sporting a red suit with gold buttons and white fur on the trim. He held a sack of toys over his back while holding an overwhelming amount of toys in his left arm, and oddly enough, a long pipe in his right hand with smoke rising out of it. Thomas Nast unintentionally but successfully established the modern-day image of Santa Claus with his political cartoon, which was actually intended to serve as Union propaganda. Coca-Cola subsequently integrated elements from Nast's depiction into various illustrations starting in 1931. The widespread distribution of these advertisements played a significant role in solidifying the red-suited Jolly Santa as an integral part of popular culture, with Coca-Cola's efforts both reinforcing and popularizing the enduring imagery that persists in contemporary times. The celebration of Christmas is associated with many beloved traditions and symbols that further enrich the essence of the festive season. Evergreens have long been part of the winter solstice and early Christmas celebrations, but it took some time before the Christmas tree became an essential part of the celebration. Germany is recognized for introducing the tradition of adorning our homes with Christmas trees, a practice that originated around the 16th century. While Christmas lights have largely taken over in modern times, candles were once a popular decoration for Christmas trees, thanks to Martin Luther, a 16th century Protestant reformer who found inspiration shining among evergreens during a walk home. Christmas trees eventually became a staple of American celebrations during the 1890s. Edward Johnson, an associate of Thomas Edison, introduced the concept of adorning strings of lights onto Christmas trees in 1882. Christmas lights soared in popularity and were being mass-produced by 1914. The introduction of candy canes dates back to 1670, when a German choirmaster handed out peppermint sticks to keep children quiet during performances. Adding a distinctive touch, he put in a request with a nearby candy maker to mold the sticks into hooks, evoking the image of a shepherd's crook and symbolizing Jesus as the Good Shepherd. Originally offered only in a white hue, candy canes underwent a transformation around the year 1900 with the introduction of their now famous red stripes. Today, they continue to hold the title of the #1 selling non-chocolate candy during the festive month. Nutcrackers, originating from German tradition, were seen as symbols of strength and power, serving as guardians that ward off malevolent spirits and potential threats. The tradition traces back to ancestral dining customs, where nutcrackers with whimsical designs added amusement and sparked conversations during family gatherings. Early iterations portrayed birds, animals, and human figures, gradually evolving into the recognizable kings and soldiers that we are familiar with today, a transformation that took place around the 17th and 18th centuries. Initially popular in Germany, nutcrackers gained global acclaim in the 1800s. Their association with Christmas became widespread after the premiere of the ballet The Nutcracker Suite in 1892, which its story came from Hoffmann's novel The Nutcracker and the King of Mice. The ballet has since become a popular holiday tradition for many, captivating audiences worldwide with its festive themes. In America, the Christmas customs and traditions we celebrate today have only evolved over a little more than a century. During the early 19th century, many Americans neither acknowledged nor partook in the festivities of this holiday. The Civil War, however, became a turning point, strengthening Christmas's appeal with its theme of sentimental family celebration and a heartfelt message of peace and goodwill. By the 1850s, the trend of decorating homes with Christmas trees gained popularity, a tradition that has transformed into a widely embraced custom. Entering the 1880s, the exchange of Christmas cards gained massive popularity, evolving into not only heartfelt gestures, but also modest presents, connecting friends and family across a rapidly expanding national landscape. The 1870s and 1880s witnessed the flourishing of gift-giving in America, a practice that had played a modest role in the past, but now gained momentum. Some theorists propose that post-Civil War, the effort to unite North and South during Reconstruction spurred the acceptance of Christmas customs, fostering a sense of community in a nation grappling with urbanization, industrialization, and the lingering echoes of war. The mid-19th century saw several older and highly industrialized states declaring Christmas as a legal holiday. By the time Christmas became both a legal and religious holiday, Americans had already embraced it with enthusiasm. Yet, it wasn't until 1870 that Christmas officially became a federal day off from work or a break from mail delivery, marking a pivotal moment in the recognition of this festive occasion. Present-day Christmas celebrations in America are largely focused on family gatherings, indulgent feasts, and the joyous act of gift-giving. Family reunions are a common occurrence during this season, when many people travel to be with their families. Neighborhoods come alive with homes illuminated by the radiance of Christmas lights, while front doors are commonly adorned with festive wreaths. Elaborate light displays, inflatable characters, and festive yard decorations are common, contributing to the overall holiday ambiance in neighborhoods. The focal point of indoor decorations is a Christmas tree, embellished with an array of lights and ornaments. Excitement runs high among children as they eagerly await Santa's arrival, anticipating the abundance of gifts he brings. Emphasis on generosity and charitable initiatives persists, with toy drives, food drives, and volunteering playing pivotal roles during the festive season. Holiday spirit unites both religious and non-religious individuals, with approximately 85% of Americans participating in the celebration. The age-old tradition of exchanging holiday cards continues, frequently incorporating family updates and heartfelt wishes, occasionally complemented by family photos. The evolution of Christmas has been shaped by traditions dating back thousands of years, undergoing a remarkable transformation to become the vibrant and cherished holiday we know today. From its lively origins in early winter solstice celebrations, Christmas has evolved into a cherished global phenomenon, with more than 160 different countries celebrating the holiday. An astonishing sum of nearly $900 billion is dedicated to holiday-related pursuits, including gifts, decorations, feasts, and various seasonal indulgences. This substantial financial commitment not only stimulates the economy, but also mirrors the collective spirit of generosity and celebration that defines the holiday season in America. The evolution of Christmas reflects not only lasting traditions, but also the enduring human desire for connection, joy, and the celebration of goodwill. As we continue to embrace the holiday season each year, we actively contribute to the ongoing story of Christmas, a narrative that transcends centuries and continues to bring communities together in the festive spirit of joy, goodwill, and togetherness.